Guys, my name is Sophia the Shadowhunter, and today I'm doing my book review on Prisoner B337 by Alan Grant, based on a true story by Ruth and Jack Gruner. I've been wanting to read this book for 2 to 3 years, and it's been on my Goodreads, and it was only $10 on Amazon, so I'm going to go ahead and buy this, and I'm glad I did. I loved it. I read it in a couple days. It was a great, interesting book. I loved it. What's interesting is this is about a boy named Jack, and he goes through the Holocaust. He's Jewish. He loses his family, and he ends up going to most of all the concentration camps. And so each section is like him at a different camp. So it starts out in Krakow in Poland, and he goes. It was just a really great book. It was well done, well written. I love the story. So first he goes from Krakow, Poland, and it has the years. And then in 1942 to 1943, so for a year, he's in the Plaza concentration camp. And then from 1943 to 1944, he's at the Wałęsa salt mine. And then in 1944, he's in the Treblinka. No, not Treblinka, it's Treblinka. I've never heard that one before. 1944. And then in 1944 to 1945, he was in Bankrio, which is sub-camp 2 of Auschwitz, Antris, Baker, and Buena. And then he goes, in 1945, he goes to Auschwitz. And then in 1945, he goes on a death march. And then in 1945, he goes to Sachsenhausen. And in 1945, he goes to Bergen-Belsen. And in 1945, he goes to Grossrosen. And the death march again. And then he goes to Dachau in 1945. And then he goes, and it ends in Munich. So, I also went to Buchenwald as well. So that's just a very great, intriguing book. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. He's a young boy and he's just trying to survive. And he thought when he was in the gas station, he said, "Go ahead and kill me already." He was telling him, "Just kill me already." Because it was so hard, and he didn't want to survive. He just, he lost his family, and he just wanted to die and get over with. But after he survives the showers and finds out it was actually just a shower into the gas chambers, because they disguised them as showers, he's like, "Well, I want to live." And later on, when he wants to die again, and he lives and he decides he wants to survive, he realizes he actually became a man, because he was 13, 12, and then he becomes 13 in the book. He does not get to have his bar mitzvah because they were in the ghetto and they weren't able to do the bar mitzvah there. They weren't allowed to do their Jewish customs and ceremonies and things like that. So he did not get to have his bar mitzvah, but he realized that through what he went through, he became a man. He became stronger for it. So this is a great book, and it was just a great, touching story. I really enjoyed it. It's such a beautiful cover. But it was just, let me read the back of it. So I gasped, filling my lungs. I had to move quickly. My heart was thumping, but it made me feel alive. And feeling alive made me want to stay alive. I think that's something that was really real during that time period, during the Holocaust. They wanted to die, and in the camps, you really had to really want to stay alive and really want to enforce yourself, because even though all your circumstances were hardly letting you to be able to live or survive, you had to push forward and make yourself stronger, and it was really mind over matter. And I think that really showed it, because he could have died. He was in about 10 concentration camps. He lost his family. It was just him by himself. And he was able to survive because he had the will to survive. and that besides God and having people help people back then, that had made them want to live. Obviously, some people got too sick, that even if you really wanted to survive, there was nothing you could do. But I think if you were decently healthy and you had a decent immune system, you were able to survive. So this is a great book. If you guys have read this book, let me know. And I'd like to know any historical fiction books or non-fiction books you guys have read and what historical books you've been reading and what other books you've been reading. And let me know. And I'll see you guys next time with another video. Bye.